Hey guys, I'm back. This is going to be part 2 of the Liv's Life video called The Truth About My Pregnancy. I did watch the end of it.
I have made a lot of predictions about where all this stuff was going to go. And I came to the conclusion in the last one that, I was lost. I didn't even know what could come next. That the things that she was saying, she was doing a good job at surprising people, or me, because I would guess something and then it'd be wrong, and I'd guess something and it would be wrong. And there's still a lot of people that think that at the end of the day we're gonna find out the whole thing was a lie. I'm gonna talk about certain parts of what she touched on and then talk about the rest of her video. So, is Gerard there or not? I don't think he's there. I think that he lives in Texas, and in that apartment, but I don't know, because she said that apartment was in her name before, I thought. So if that's in her name, she can't have, she can, but I don't think she would have an apartment in her, 2 different apartments in her own name. So maybe Gerard did move in with all of them, and that's why he was there to help move stuff in. Because I remember when she said that he was there to help move stuff, that it just seemed kind of weird, maybe he wasn't only there to help move. But I'm gonna say that I think Gerard, I don't know, maybe, I really don't know. I'm gonna say that he is in Texas still, and that the stuff that she said, so now I'm gonna kind of blend this. So she did say in her video, there's just so much that she just said, and it really seemed like the realest video that she's made so far, but I really don't know, so maybe Gerard's there, maybe not, but I think that she might be, I think that she might be really telling the truth this time. Gerard was still in Texas, that he's sleeping with other people, that he's talking to other people, and that he's just kind of keeping her in the back burner, that she's off in another state, so she doesn't ever know actually what he's doing. And that, as long as he's telling her that he loves her and everything else, and that, everything's going to be okay, and that they're going to work everything out, then, she's been holding on to that. And that does happen to a lot of people, both ways, and it's sad. But to take it to the point of aborting the baby, this is such a controversial topic, and my whole life I've always said I'm against abortion. And I started to grow up, and as I was growing up and different things happened to me, I had a stillborn, I've had several miscarriages, and I have a friend that's had more than one abortion, who, like I said in another video, still has dreams about a little boy that could have been her son. And through my own loss, and knowing that, there's a lot of women out there that really want to have kids that can't, I was there's no way I would say that abortion's okay. Not even going into depth of when do they have a heartbeat, this and that. Because I know in New York, in certain parts, you can have an abortion up to 6 months old, 6 months gestation, 6 months pregnant. There's a lot of traffic in this world. So, what I was going to say is that I started to think to myself, but if a woman's telling people, okay, you should never lay up with a man if you're not ready to have a baby. But if we want to be realistic, it happens, and people do get pregnant when they don't want to be pregnant. Now, if a woman's telling you she doesn't want to be pregnant and she doesn't want to keep a baby, why do pro-life, and I'm not saying that I'm pro-life or pro-choice, I'm just asking a question. Why is it that pro-life people want this woman to have that baby that bad? And then you could say, well, because the baby still deserves to have its own life, and it could still be placed up for adoption. He or she, could still be placed up for adoption, and then they could still live a successful life. And then you have to question, is it still quality life for a baby to be brought in the world, and not be with a loving mother that really did want their child. It's a very controversial subject, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. And I think it would be case by case. I don't think you could say like all people that are adopted would feel this type of way about it. You know what I mean? No, of course not. It's obviously different across the board, but there's just so many aspects to it. And I thought of that question, like, why is it that people... I think it's wrong to get an abortion. But at the same time, I understand. It's not that I'm condoning it, but I understand if a woman doesn't want to have the baby that she's pregnant with. I understand ending the pregnancy before bringing a baby into the world that you don't want to care for. There are so many, and you say put them up for adoption, there's so many kids that are in the system right now, so many kids that need to be adopted, that want to be adopted, that there's so many kids that will never be adopted, that I don't know that that's really a great choice to say, well, if you don't want them, still have the baby and just give them up for adoption. You're adding more kids to a large system that's already overwhelmed. So no, I don't agree with abortion. But I understand not bringing a child into the world if you don't want one. What does that make me? Am I pro-life or am I pro-choice? I have no clue. Really. I could never get an abortion. I could be on my 10th kid and I would try to find a way to make it work. Liv talks about she wants to take her kids on trips and she wants to go back to school, and that this baby's not going to hinder any of her future plans. And that she has to make the responsible decision for her and her family. And I just wonder, how is that responsible? In my opinion, if you love your 3 kids, and you're taking care of these 3 kids, and there's a lot of people that still live with their family members and stuff like that, which makes it a lot easier. And if you can and you're able to have your own place and have all your children there, that's even more fortunate for you, right? But my thing is, if you're able to have those children with you and care for them, you can take care of a 4th. You're gonna love that 4th child just as much as you love the first 3. You're going to, before you were pregnant, you didn't get a GED, right, Liv? So why are you gonna have an abortion and all of a sudden have the motivation to get a GED? It doesn't work like that. I don't wish you any ill intent, but I know it doesn't work like that. I know from being somebody's best friend, very close friend of someone who had an abortion. She had an abortion, I want to say, it was over 5 years ago, maybe closer to 10. And my friend still comes to tears about that. She still thinks about it often. She still dreams about it. So even if she doesn't choose to think about it, it's in her dreams. The situation's in her dreams. So will you really be ready to go and get your GED and take your kids to Disneyland? Or are you going to think about, and say you and Gerard get back together? That's the biggest fucking thing. Yeah, you're hurt. It hurts so fucking bad. I'm not discrediting your feelings. And even just me using the word hurt seems like not enough to describe how bad it feels to feel lonely and left by somebody that you love. But what if you and Gerard get back together? And now you have 3 kids, and you know that you would have had a 4th. What if you go to have a 4th, now that you know the vasectomy didn't work, and you guys decide you want to stay together and have a 4th baby, and now you have too much built up scar tissue from the abortion to have another baby, and then you constantly think about this baby that you could have had that you just aborted because you guys were going through it. It's all stuff to think about, like, and if you guys don't think that that's never happened to somebody before, then you're dead ass wrong, because that's happened to people before. I mean, look at the teen mom situation. She didn't have an abortion, but Caitlyn and Tyler, you know, they gave their first baby up for adoption, and then they had 2 more. And now they still live with the fact that they put the first baby up for adoption, and now they had 2 more. So this first little girl is going to get older, and she's going to question her parents, like, why'd you give me up for adoption, saying you can't take care of me, but you guys are on TV and you have 2 children now. And it's not like, you know, maybe your kids won't know, but now that you put it on the internet, now that I just thought of it, your kids will find this out one day. Maybe you'll be able to tell them it was all a lie and it was just a job and you're an actress, just like in the movies, just like the Marilyn Monroe picture that you have on your wall. And, you know, maybe that'll be enough in your mind. It'll be enough to just say, my kids will be fine because I'm just going to tell them it was all made up and that I'm an actress, just like in the movies. But maybe they won't. And maybe this is something that's going to stick around. Like, if you are about to get an abortion and it was on the internet and all that, what are your kids going to think about that? My thing is, if you want to get your GED, you can get it whether you're pregnant or not. You're going to struggle whether you have 3 kids or 4 by yourself. It's going to be hard. And if it does get easier, it'll be easier all the way around whether you have 3 or 4. I'm not saying, oh, what's a couple more and just keep having more fucking kids. I'm not saying that, excuse my language, but I'm being honest. Like, you can't say that you having an abortion is going to give you motivation to do, and I know you didn't say those exact words, but in a nutshell, it seems as though you're saying you get an abortion, then you said you're going to make the most responsible decision for you and your children. But how is that the most responsible decision if you're making it in a time of despair, when you're not clear and level-headed? You know, look at all the videos that we saw where one day Gerard would be avoiding your calls. Like you said, he avoids you, you know, in the weekend, Sunday night comes, then he's on your ass. Like, excuse my language, but there's just so much going on. Maybe she should go to like a counselor or a therapist that could actually like, you know, talk to her and actually thoroughly weigh out options of like what you're really thinking and how that would really affect your life. Like a therapist, I'm saying, because it's someone that doesn't know her from a hole in the wall. It's not a subscriber, it's not a viewer, it's not somebody on YouTube that can give you an opinion that doesn't have a bias towards you. So those are my thoughts. It was a lot. She said she's gonna have an abortion next week. So the story continues, sadly. I don't know. But I know that it doesn't make me feel good talking about. Like, I don't take it lightly. And it's sad to me. And I can only imagine the women that have never been able to have a child. Like, what do they think about someone being so, I want to say frivolous. I don't know if that's the right word in this situation. But just so relaxed about that decision to have an abortion. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment whether you agree with me, disagree with me, you have more predictions. I think this is chapter 8 in the story. Let me know what you think. All our comments are disabled, so you can use my videos as a platform to talk about this stuff. Because there are other people that are going through the same thing. There's a lot of people that watch this lady. And there's a lot of people. We are people. People have a natural desire to connect with other people. So if there's other people watching this video that have opinions and things that they feel like they could say or that they would say to someone if their friend watched this girl, that's what I'm saying. You can leave that on my page. That's fine. We can talk about it. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.